Hello and welcome to this overview. In this module, we'll look at receipts and refund. We've got a few forms for recording money received or refunds paid out. Now the top one is for income received. We've got income refund, money capital invested, bank interest received, VAT refund, PAYE and NI refund, and then agency collections. Then we're also going to look at purchases and refunds. We've got the overhead expense paid, overhead expense refund, cost of sales paid, cost of sales refund. So among the receipts and refund, we'll look at the income received. Now this form has got a guide up here which tell us how to go about the recording process. Now it's got 4 VAT options. Default is T9/T2 for businesses which are not registered for VAT. Then those which are registered for VAT depends on the nature of the transaction. If it's 0 rated, we select that one and we get 3 rows. If it's 20%, we select that one, and so on, and then 5% we select this one. Now these percentages determine the computations of values, because values here are computed by the app. And now this form requires a gross amount, so we've selected 5%. So if we typed in 105, then the amounts are auto-generated below to save us time. So in this form, it indicates that the top row is going to be debited to the GL, second row credited to the GL, third row credited to the GL sales VAT account. Now the top 2 rows, we can select the accounts. Okay, now this is a list of accounts which receive money, which can receive money. If an account can't receive money, then it's not on this list. Oh, sorry, we are in refund, receipts and refund. No, receipts and refund. Yes, so that's the income received. Click the wrong button. Actually, I've changed. Okay, so we go back to our 5%. Now let's go back to the phone screen. This is the phone screen, and then we click any of them. Now the second box below is for income accounts. This is a short list of only income accounts. Only income accounts. You scroll up. It should be a list with about 20 accounts. 20 accounts only. So you select the appropriate income account, and then that one will be credited with the amount, and that will be the net amount. So this is the income received form. Now let's see, that's an income refund form which will require the net amount as well. Now let's see, now these are the other forms below here, and these are the other forms below here. Let's see something I need to put, yes, in focus. Yeah, we can see now the duration of the video. Now these are the forms for recording. These are basically 2-entry transactions. It's for money capital invested, bank interest received, and so on and so forth. Now among purchases and refund, we've got the overhead expense paid form. Got the 4 VAT options, and if you select 20%, it indicates that the top row is going to be debited to the account which you select from this list. Now this list should only have overhead expenses, and then below here we've got accounts that can pay. So these are the accounts in the system right now that can pay. So you select one of them. If you're paying by credit card, cash, or personal capital invested, you select that one. And then these ones below don't have to be selected. They are standard. It's about saving time. And of course, now the entry to the purchases VAT account ends up in the general ledger and the VAT ledger. General ledger to complete double entry, and the VAT ledger to generate a detailed VAT report. And then let's see, so you type the net amount there, say 500, the 500. Now what kind of form is this one. This is purchases paid at 20%. Yeah. So you type the net amount, the VAT inclusive amount of 600 is generated, the VAT amount of 100 is generated, and so on. So you type a narration and so on and so forth. Document number, the month, adjustable. Now remember, the quarter is only adjustable if you adjust the month. For example, you put month 12 and then the quarter will change to the fourth quarter. So this is the purchases paid form, and remember, each one of them has got a guide on how to use the form. Now you may notice a slight difference, because at the time we compiled this guide, we didn't have the GL column here. That is a difference you might realize, but basically we are saying that transactions in the top row will be debited to the general ledger, and those on the row with CR will be credited to the general ledger. So any account selected here will be debited and credited, and of course this one requires the gross amount. Remember the guide there. Say okay to that after you finish with that. And let's see the other forms in the purchases and refund. We've got the cost of sales paid form. Now the cost of sales really should only list cost of sales accounts. Okay, we've got either two rows if it's a T9 no VAT. We end up with 3 rows if it's a zero rated transaction. And then we end up with 4 rows if it's 20% or 5% VAT. And remember, the 2 bottom rows are not optional, they are compulsory. You don't need to do anything about them. The only thing you need to do is to determine the cost of sales account. Now, apparently this list is still mixed up with overhead expenses, but it's going to be customized. Now, when we customize that list, it will only show cost of sales account. That's in the next version. But at the moment, you can still select the cost of sales accounts that you desire. And remember, using this app, you need to know what you're doing as far as double entry is concerned. Occasionally, you may find forms with 1 or 2 with very restricted accounts, but generally speaking, you should know what you want to be done. So that is the receipts and refund, and then purchases and refund modules. Now we can look at, since we have time, we can look at the next module. Let's see. The next module should be, just a second, that should be the fixed assets module, that one. Fixed assets module. Now fixed assets has got, let's see, this form is for recording fixed assets paid, either T9, T0, 20% or otherwise. Select 20% and the appropriate rows are displayed, indicating which entries are going to be debited, which ones are going to be credited, and so on and so forth. And then let's see. Now here we've got restricted lists. Now this list is for only fixed asset cost accounts. Now the accounts below have got to be customized via the chart of accounts modify in the miscellaneous module. So if you name the account, then the name of the account will appear on this list. So these are only cost accounts. And then below here, we only have paying accounts. If an account cannot pay, then it's not listed here. So the aim really is saving time. And then this form desires the net amount. If 1200 was paid and the 200 was VAT, then we only type in the 1000, which is net, and the rest are auto-generated to simplify and save us time. Then we type in a narration, document number, the month and quarter. That's right, that's a fixed asset paid form. Then below here we've got the fixed asset refund form. Now this fixed asset refund form, it desires, let's see, that's the gross amount. You type in the gross amount. But before you do that, you should know the rate of VAT on that fixed asset which was bought. So you click this drop down to determine the rate of VAT. And of course, we've got a guide at the top there on how the whole process should be done. So if you select 5%, we get the appropriate rows. And remember, we're supposed to select that, the paying account, which is receiving the refund, and the cost account, which was actually returned or otherwise. So that's the fixed asset refund form. And then here we've got fixed assets capital invested, fixed assets disposal paid for, fixed assets disposal cost transfer. This should be a journal. These last two should be journals. These last two should be journals. And then after fixed assets, we have got payments. payments. Now here we need to look a little bit at Excel. I think we'll do that next in the next module. Thank you so much.